The amazing beliefs intuitives have in order to create amazing lives. What logical people don't understand is that the fears that they have actually control the results of their lives. Let's say, for example, you're a logical person who grew up in a country where dogs were really wild and dangerous, and then you carry that belief into a developed country. What happens is you're always going to believe the worst behavior is going to come out of a dog, and anytime you visit a friend who has a dog, you're going to be scared of them, and the dog is going to pick up on that and behave really aggressively. So you're going to manifest the beliefs that you have based on your logical upbringing. And it's the same with horses. If you had a bad experience with a horse when you were young for whatever reason, and someone just told you that horses are really difficult to get along with, anytime you encounter a horse, you're going to have a difficult relationship with them. You may even try to learn to ride one with help, but they may kick you off, or they may do something dastardly and horrible to you because it senses your anxiety and your fear. The horses will think that you're going to do something to harm them when you're already afraid of them. And so the way you fix your beliefs as a sensitive, intuitive person is that you just change the language and believe that it's true. So if you are really afraid of horses, start telling yourself that horses are the most amazing, magical creatures and that you get along with them perfectly and that they're not nervous in your presence. And if you really believe that energy and embody it, when you are around a horse, the horse is going to feel more relaxed with you. They're going to feel more natural because they know you have their best interests at heart. And it's not good enough to have a superficial interest to think that the animal is cute. That's a good start. But if you are just focused on the superficial, that's not going to be enough to really build that beautiful, positive trust with an animal. It's got to be felt very deeply, and you need to have respect for animals on a very personal level in order for them to respect you back. This is true of anything in life. You can build a positive belief out of anything. If you're afraid of snakes, really what you need to do is understand that they're just animals trying to get by. And if you don't interfere with them and you're calm, they will get by doing their business and you will get by doing your business as a human being. And there's no real need to be afraid of them. You also take precautions when you're in countries where there's snakes or there are bugs that could really hurt you. And you just make sure you're wearing closed-toed shoes, you're making sure you're wearing big socks, and you're well prepared for that environment so none of these dastardly snakes or insects will bother you when you're in those climates. When you believe in positive things and you take common sense approaches to protect yourself from everyday dangers, then there's really nothing to be worried about, regardless of whatever environment you choose to live in. You build your beliefs so you can interact positively with those environments and they don't truly bother you. Your positive beliefs can help you build something as big and positive as becoming a millionaire. And you might wonder, well, how does that work? Is just telling myself I'm going to become a millionaire, will that work? And the answer to that is yes and no. So telling yourself it will work and having a positive attitude is the beginning. The bigger results you're going after in life and you're trying to manifest, the more small actions you need to organize along the way in order to get there. You may become a millionaire in 20 years through investing, or you may become a millionaire overnight from a success that's in mainstream media. Whatever that result is, and there isn't a right or a wrong way about it, you have to break down all the little tasks and manifest all the little tasks along the way in order to get the big result. And that's why people get really screwed up on the belief part. They're like, how can I just believe that I'll become a millionaire? It is a big leap from one to the other. And sometimes you can manifest things simply by just believing them. Sometimes it works out that way. Other times you need to pair your belief with a series of actions. And that goal of setting yourself up to be a millionaire appears too big in the moment. I'm going to own a house first, or I am going to achieve $100,000 first, or whatever those achievements are along the way. Sometimes those can be easier and more believable to tune into before you hit that big goal. Other times you shouldn't be limited by smaller goals and you should just go for the big one. There are people who do manifest big and get it quickly. So there's no rules or right or wrong way about it. But if you're not manifesting something big that you really, really want and you're not sure why, sometimes it means you just have to organize and break it down into smaller goals that you believe consciously along the way, and then you build up to the bigger goal. Logical people tend to believe there's one way of doing something. They think they get their wealth from the stock market and getting a very high return and then trading it off. Or they have a long-term perspective where they are keeping their stocks and following financial advice, and they follow the wrong authority figure instead of trusting themselves, like sensitive, intuitive people do. As sensitive, intuitive people, we make mistakes along the way, but what we do is we actually learn from our mistakes and then trust ourselves more. When we do blow things up in a big way, we might feel embarrassed for a short time, but our positive beliefs we've programmed in ourselves will take over and bring us back to that positive place where we're able to create again, regardless of any failure that we encounter. And truthfully, when you want to manifest a big goal, you will experience failure. And logical people are very afraid to do that. They want to be right all the time. And if they're wrong, then it's a disaster. Sensitive people understand that if a challenging event happens in their lives, that it's just a life lesson and it's something to be learned and absorbed in order to improve their own lives, rather than as some dastardly, horrible event that they can't control. I had an event like this a few years ago where I was paralyzed due to a very rare illness called Guillain-Barré syndrome. And at that time, finances weren't very good. I had to reorganize and call the banks. At that time, one of the bank tellers was actually really mean to me and said that I hadn't gotten good enough credit card insurance. And I literally had an illness that affects 1 in a million, and I'd been running 10K prior to that. I was healthier than most during the pandemic. So it was really just a life lesson I couldn't control. So I'm never gonna bank with them again. Really shouldn't judge people based on their life lessons, because you never know who they really are underneath the life lesson. People do bounce back from difficult times. And as intuitive, sensitive types, we're excellent at doing that. We're excellent at being resilient and generating abundance even after really difficult circumstances. We overcome our difficult life circumstances. We cut ties with people who don't serve us, and we have the courage to do so and to move on and start fresh. And we live our best, most abundant lives, and our difficult events don't have to define us whatsoever.